which we're going to start off. Oh, you can sit there. Where's my timekeeper? I've asked Nick Connor to be our timekeeper tonight. He's one of our resident YRs and activists. We're going to allow a 2-minute opening statement, and whenever we get to the questions, 1-minute answer, and if I deem necessary, for a 30-second rebuttal, and then 2-minute closing. So I guess we start off with Cindy.
Good evening. I'd like to thank you for inviting me here to this evening so I can introduce myself to you. My name is Cindy Williams Kennedy, and as you know, I am running for the office of the Rogers County Clerk. I've lived in Rogers County my entire life. I was blessed to be raised in a wonderful family. My mother, Patsy Williams, and my father was retired Chief T.S. Williams, and I have an uncle who was the police chief, Tubby Williams. They were both respected community leaders and taught me as I was growing up to treat the community as part of your family, treat it with integrity and with respect. I am just shy of 40 years working in the title industry. I am a licensed abstractor and a real estate escrow officer. I also worked for 4 years in the county clerk's office. And in all of my duties, I've always worked in conjunction with the office of the county clerk. This experience has given me an overall understanding of the internal process of the county clerk's office, as well as the opportunity to develop the skills necessary to operate the county clerk's office in an organized and efficient manner. I'd like to close by saying that I am prepared to bring my experience, my integrity, and my leadership with me to the office of the Rogers County Clerk, and to always be an active and accountable employee for the citizens of Rogers County. Thank you.
I've got to mention that Nick will hold up a yellow card when you're at 15 seconds and a red when you're out of time.
Okay, perfect.
I am Holly Baker. I would like to be your Rogers County Clerk. Many of you who are here know me in my capacity as the current elected clerk and treasurer in Heidlage. I also serve there basically as most everything. I'm purchasing agent, payroll clerk, benefits coordinator, you name it, aside from the fact that I don't want to carry a gun. I do the work there. My husband, Jason, and I both graduated from high school in Heidlage. We've raised our children there. My oldest 2 daughters have graduated there. We've got 3 young ones there that are going to school there. We've always been active in our community. I enjoy my job as a clerk, treasurer at this point in the public service, but I also enjoy volunteering, so we do a lot of that. We sit on a lot of boards and volunteer with the senior citizens and anything that arises that can use our help in the community. As the county clerk, I would promise to provide proven leadership. I have managerial experience for the last 20 years of my life. I would focus on transparency and accountability and accessibility. I think those things are important. I'm very well versed in the Open Meetings Act and the Open Records Act. I understand how those things govern meetings and why they are there. I will maintain and improve records information and preservation systems. I would also like to really assess what's there and figure out how we can streamline things and make things more available and more understandable to people. And I'll focus on cost effectiveness of current programs and use available technology to improve them. I have the experience and enthusiasm to do the job, and I can't wait for your vote.
Hi, my name is Jeanne, and I too am a candidate for Rogers County Clerk. I say I'm a lifelong resident of Rogers County. We moved here when I was 5. I grew up in Heidlage on a small dairy. I'm one of 7 children, and my siblings and I all graduated from Heidlage High School. I married Bob 31 years ago. We moved to Claremore, to the big city, where we've raised our 3 children. Very proud of my children. I have 3 grown children, a police officer, a nurse, and a law student. So it's a good time. They're on their own and kind of self-sufficient, so it's time for me to give back to the community. I started working for the county commissioner 6 years ago. District 1 is his assistant. Didn't know a lot about county government, got interested in it, and it became a passion. Through assisting him, I received all the certifications for a county commissioner. So actually, I laugh, I'm qualified to be a county commissioner. Not only certification, but accreditation, which means you take the class, take the test, and pass it with an 80% proficiency. In March, I took the county clerk's class because I'm pursuing this office. I want to know what it's about. Because the county clerk is a lot more than land records. The county clerk is the manager of the county. If you have a wheel, the county clerk is the hub, and everything goes through the county clerk. A lot of people don't know that our military discharges are kept in the county clerk's office. A lot of things happen. Budgets start in the county clerk's office. Open meetings, minutes, agendas. Lots of things happen in the county clerk's office. I know what the job is, and I'm ready to do it. Thank you.
I'm going to ask Candace to go ahead and stay over there, and whenever they're answering, just go ahead and stand up. First question is a pretty easy one, but it's usually one of the first ones that people ask. How long have you been a Republican, and why are you a Republican? All right, we'll go ahead and start back on the other side with Jeanne.
Okay. I have been a Republican since last August. In 1980, when I graduated from high school in Rogers County, you had to be a Democrat to vote. So we all registered as Democrats. The tide has changed. I've always voted the person, never the party. I'm smart enough to listen to people and to be able to assume who is going to be the best in that role. A year ago, not knowing what the environment was going to be in the county clerk's office, I thought it was best for me, as many other elected officials, to change parties because I want to serve the citizens of this county, and I didn't feel like I could do it the other way. So I've been a Republican since last August, but I'm just a smart person who votes for the person.
I've been a lifelong Republican. The reason, of course, I was raised with very conservative values. My parents were very conservative. They were Republicans. And grew to understand that that was the way I wanted to raise my children. That's the way I wanted to live. It's the environment I wanted to raise children in. So for me, I think the reason I'm Republican is because I enjoy the camaraderie, the family, the values that come with being conservative. Not to say that she's exactly right. 20 years ago, you had to be a Democrat. I don't believe there should be any kind of partisanship in serving as the clerk. However, that being said, I do believe that I want to be honest and upfront with my constituents from the beginning and let them know I'm a Republican, I will be a Republican.
I became a registered Republican 5 or 6 years ago. I too, like Jeanne, when you were born and raised here, everything was Democrat. If you wanted to vote or if you wanted to have a say in anything, you had to be a Democrat. But as I got older and got more into politics, I was actually voting a split ticket also because I would vote for the person that I thought could do the job. And I just, 5 or 6 years ago, I decided just to go ahead and make it permanent on paper so that I could be proud of the party that I represent, so.
Next question is, I think some of you may have already somewhat answered it in your opening remarks, but what have you done to prepare for the office? We'll start with Holly.
Well, first and foremost, I'm doing the job. I'm doing the job now on a smaller scale. I'm the current elected clerk treasurer in Heidlage, and I maintain all of our records. I do all of our purchasing. I am the purchase agent. I am the payroll clerk. I am the benefits coordinator. I do all of that stuff already. So for me, the natural progression is to move up and take my skill set to the county. Along with that, you know, I do offer the experience in the other side of it, the land and title side of it, and I offer managerial experience.
What have you done to prepare for the office?
Well, I think my almost 4 years of experience in the title industry has prepared me for the land records part of it. When I did work in the county clerk's office, I was also trained in the purchasing department. I was also trained of how to handle the incoming bids, and I was also slightly trained in the HR department. So I have experience in all the departments of the county clerk's office from working there and just from my history and my experience in the business.
As I said in my opening statements, I have, as far as the county commissioner standards, I have basic, advanced 1, and advanced 2, all the accreditations along with the certifications. I independently, in March, took the county clerk's course through Oklahoma State University, a 2-day course that's available. I've also shadowed at other county clerk's office to see what they do, what works for them, and how it's best done, to kind of get an overall view of the functions of the office and how to make it work the best. I visit with the school superintendents because they work closely with the county clerk's office. Information is important. The county clerk serves as the liaison between our government and the people to be informed, and so that's what I've done to prepare.
Next question is, I guess we'll start with Cindy. Who in the community is publicly supporting or volunteering on your campaign as far as elected officials, well, people that's rooted and well known within the county?
I have spoken with the Home Builders Association, so like the Brett Camp builders within the community, Mr. Albert from Cowbell Structural. I have talked to Frank Robson. I don't know if Mr. Robson's publicly supporting me, but I've talked to all of them and gotten good feedback from all of them.
Do you want to know, I mean, public support, I can tell you where signs are. Contributors, that's kind of a
I'm not going to ask for
question.
contributors. If people want that, they can go to.
Right, if you look at the ethics report.
Right.
Frank Robson, Phil Albert, Jim Thomas, Scott Bolton, Jason Creedy. There's a whole list. I mean, I'm trying to think of signs where, you know, every place that I've been allowed to put a sign. Wanda Sanders in the Heidlage community, Winnicott Ingersoll in the Inola community. Please look at my ethics report because they're all listed there.
Right.
I mean, it's just come up.
I was asking as far as your endorsements.
Endorsements, Lee Keener, Dr. Keith Ballard, and Jason, as far as public endorsements.
Holly?
My public supporters at this point would be, you're not asking for contributors, correct? You just want to
Right.
supporters. Okay. Locally in Heidlage, of course, I have a lot of support there because that's where my job is and I work with a lot of them. So I have our mayor and Northwest Fire Chief, Matt Shockley. I have all of our board members, some of which are here tonight. Our chief of police, Peter Moore. I also have those very same supporters out of the Talala community. Out of Inola, Mr. Carl Carson. I have, of course, my mother-in-law, Kathy Baker. I have also Wanda Sanders, Carolyn Estes. Endorsements right now are coming from, Mr. Carson has already publicly endorsed me, and each of the individuals that I work with personally in my community.
Next question is, your professional opinion, what changes in office operations would you make to the current administration? I think I've lost track, and I think I was talking to Jeanne on this next one.
Will you repeat the question one more time?
In your professional opinion, what changes in office operations would you make in the current administration?
Right now, it's hard to see without going in when you're not a part of that office every day. It's hard to know what to do. But to be able to evaluate the office, it needs to be accessible. It needs to be friendly. Customer service needs to be utmost. It's the people's office. People walk in there, they need to be greeted, they need to be serviced and helped. Accountability when errors are made, and I will assure you, there are going to be errors made, no matter who takes the office, but you own it, you make the changes necessary to prevent it from happening again, and you go forward. Hours. I've even looked at some other places of extending hours. People work 8 to 5. It's hard to get to the courthouse when you work an 8 to 5 job Monday through Friday. So, maybe looking at the option of a Thursday night late like the banks have gone to, just to make the office more user-friendly and more the people's office. And that may be digitizing things where things are more accessible online as well.
I agree 100% with Jeanne on this one. It should be a customer service oriented office. Beyond that, I also agree that my very first step would be to go in and assess what's going on there, what processes and systems they're using right now, how they can be streamlined, how they can be made more efficient, how they can be made more available to citizens. In my campaign, I have found there are very few people in this county who have any idea what goes on in the county clerk's office. They have no idea, aside from the fact that you file an abstract there, they're not aware. And I'd like to make sure that we utilize what we have, the website for the county, for example, there's a page there, to kind of educate the public on what those things are, what goes on there, and provide resources to help them more easily access the office, so that when they come in, it is not a daunting task to file what they need to file and get information they need to have.
And at the time of the current elected officials exiting, there is an audit done by the state auditor's office. Those items on there will certainly be handled in emergency order to take care of what the state auditors were requested to be taken care of. Then also, just once I'm in office, just kind of assess the office itself, its procedures. The employees, make sure that they are knowledgeable and understand the process and what they are supposed to do. Just make the office efficient and make sure that it's organized and accessible to the public. Try to use the IT department to make sure everything is accessible to the public online.
This next question, I think, ties in a little bit with the last one. What will your first 3 decisions be on your first day? I guess we'll start with Holly.
My first 3 decisions on my first day. A, to arrive and be there and be available. B, spend some time meeting with everyone and finding out what they do and how they do it, what their concerns are, what they would like to see done. Those are important things. When you work with 8 or 10 people in an office, it's good to know what their goals are. And I think thirdly, probably just to spend some time in the courthouse and other offices too, meeting the people there, introducing myself to them. I've done that a lot over the past few weeks, but not in an official capacity as the clerk. So I would probably do that.
I too, I would probably meet with the staff, get to know them as well as I can, and introduce myself to them, see what their opinions are about what could be done to help the office run more efficiently, to just try to start get things organized, find the location of everything. Since I haven't been in the new courthouse, I'm not sure, where the current county clerk is keeping records like the DD 214s and the school records. And, okay, show up and know what to wear, right?
I could tell you that I haven't looked at the calendar, but I think it's January 2nd. Those decisions will be made, but I will start on November the 9th. And that will be the first day the decision-making process begins. I'll evaluate, I'll do everything I can prior to that first day when I take my oath to be ready with the people, with the information that I need to make those decisions that will be critical to keep that office functioning and running from day one forward. So those decisions will be made when I take office, but they will be in the process of being determined through November and December.
Okay. Next question, I think. Try to keep this all track in my mind, which order to keep this in. Why do you want to be county clerk? I believe it's Cindy's turn to start this off.
I want to be the county clerk so that I just want the office to be efficient. I want it to be organized. I spend almost every day in the job that I do right now cleaning up, working with the attorneys, clearing up titles or clearing up problems. It's a big challenge. I'm actually excited about it, and I want to be able to be in there for the citizens so that I can take care of them, answer their questions, and get problems resolved for them, and just try to bring the office up to what they expect out of it. Take care of them.
Working as a commissioner's assistant for 6 years, I worked closely with the county clerk's office and saw the county clerk's office work like it should, and I watched it work how it should not. And last October, I made a conscious decision after talking to people I respect to say, you know what, I think I can do a good job. I think I can do a better job, and I think I can be a good servant for the people of this county. So I decided then to serve. And as I told you, my children are grown, kind of in between. It's time for me to get back in a different capacity, and I've chosen to do it as a county clerk.
For me, I have a passion for public service, and I have found that is even tenfold more since I've started doing the job that I do in Heidlage. I want to do this job because I know that I can do it. I'm already doing it, and I'm doing it very well. I have brought, in many ways, Heidlage out of the dark ages and improved processes, saved money, set up programs. That would be my first and foremost reason. I want to serve the public, and I want to do it in a capacity that I know my skills will benefit the county. Beyond that, I think that I have the experience to do it, and I have the knowledge to do it. I did not decide last October to run. I actually kind of have watched the process, and when it came the day to file, I decided that I probably could offer more experience and a more well-rounded candidate to the office.
Next question, I believe we'll start with Jeanne on this one. How will you contribute to the culture of the courthouse?
Making sure that things run smoothly. Like I said, the county clerk, everything goes pretty much through the county clerk's office, purchasing, payroll, you name it. They're responsible for elections. Just making sure that the county runs smooth. Citizens are informed, elected officials, employees, everybody is informed and has the knowledge to make the right decisions. Things are done in a timely fashion, and just follow the statutes. Make sure that things are done correctly.
How would I improve the culture of the courthouse?
Or how would you
Contribute to the culture of the courthouse. First and foremost, I think through integrity, availability, accessibility, all of those things that matter and are in in the public's eye much more lately because of other issues within the county. I think beyond that, I'm a fun-loving person. I like to have a good time. I like to do things professionally, but also understanding that. Sorry, this fly's killing me. I usually on my eyelashes. I like to have a good time, but understanding that there's a time to be a good communicator and be professional and do the things that need to be done. Like Jeannie said, it is the hub, and you will have contact with virtually every office in the courthouse. I do have the benefit in my job now, thank you, that I already have contact with most of those offices as a municipal clerk and treasurer.
How will you contribute to the courthouse?
I too want to make sure that all of the records and everything in the county clerk's office, I want the past to be the past. I want to take it into the future. I want to just represent the county with integrity, with experience, and just move forward and try to make it the best office I can for accessibility to the citizens and take care of their needs.
And the next question is, describe a time where you had to build a working relationships to get a job. Let's start with Holly.
This is literally most days of my life. I am the only full-time administrative person who works in Heidlage. Beyond that, I serve as a board who meets only twice a month. So any information that they need, that they obtain to run our entire town comes through me. And any kind of project or research that they need done starts with me. So I would say, honestly, my entire job is doing that on a daily basis, regularly. There's not a time that I'm not bringing people together, bringing information together, and making things happen.
I'm sorry, I totally did not hear the question.
Describe a time where you had to build working relationships to get a job done.
Oh my gosh. In my line of work where I close real estate loans and I have to coordinate with real estate agents and individuals, I do it every day. It's just an everyday thing. It's part of my job.
Jeannie?
I can give you the best example would be at the snowstorm of 2012. We start off with, I work at a county barn and I work the night shift. So the first priority is to make sure the guys are in their trucks, safe, and have communication. Once we get past the storm, then the FEMA work starts. FEMA meets, they have to determine if we've met a threshold, a dollar figure. So that has to be estimated very accurately for purposes of FEMA finance, for FEMA grants. So we work there. We don't work backwards. We start at the beginning of the storm. We document time, we document hours, we document equipment, and we document it accurately. Therefore, when we get to the FEMA meeting, we meet the requirements, then we are allowed reimbursement to our taxpayers to cover costs that are above and beyond what we would normally incur in a normal day. And I might add, Rogers County's had their fair share of FEMA disasters.
Next question. What experience do you have with preparing budgets? We'll start with Cindy.
In preparing budgets, honestly, I don't have that much experience. However, again, in my daily job, I close transactions anywhere from millions of dollars down, and they all have to balance. They all have to zero out. I mean, it's just, and I have to be accountable for all of the funds and all of the finances that go through there. So I just do it on a daily basis.
Jeannie?
As Commissioner's Assistant, you sat in on the budget process. I was the Chairman's Assistant for 2 years. We did all the budget meetings, met with all the office elected officials to help prepare their budget. OSU offers classes on budgeting. We take those so that we can inform ourselves. But we also, with a budget, what we need to know where you've been so you know where you're going to go. So in about March or April, the elected officials need to know where they are in their budgets so they know where to plan for the next year. And they also need to see the trend from the last 5 years. Where were we? What was happening? And all that experience I gained through working as an assistant to the commissioner as we prepared the budget every year.
I literally just finished preparing a budget at about 6 p.m. yesterday for the town of Heidlage. Heidlage's been very fortunate, and we have a multi-million-dollar general fund. And as treasurer, of course, it's my job to manage that fund all day, every day. That's what I do. I have a deputy clerk who was amazing at teaching me some things in Excel that I could use with in conjunction with our program. But Jeannie's absolutely right. It's not just sitting down and putting some numbers on paper. We've had several working meetings with our board where I sit down and explain to them what we've spent, why we've spent it, what's coming up, what we're going to need, and show them a history of what we have spent, figure out what their vision is going forward, get some formulas worked out and put it all on paper with a budget message and a summary, and it'll be published next week. I couldn't be more excited.
I'm going to go ahead and open this up for questioning from the audience. So if anybody has a question, just raise your hand. I guess while they're thinking of questions, I'll ask you, what experience do you have preparing agendas, attending meetings, taking minutes, typing minutes? I think I'll let it off with, I think it's Holly's turn.
That is what I do. I do that about 4 times a month for our regular board. We have 2 regular meetings a month. Often we have reason, especially right now, completing some capital projects where we're having special meetings as well. I do that. I actually supervise and sometimes do the job in that. On a couple of boards I sit on, I'm the OPT president at Heidlage and president of the soccer club. We're a little low staffed on those, so I do that. It is also my job to make sure that those are posted correctly, to make sure that those are sent out to our board members with all of their information that they need to make decisions on that agenda. And then I also do the agenda and minutes for our planning commission and our board of adjustment.
Cindy?
Actually, when I worked for the county clerk's office, I was trained in how to prepare the agenda and the minutes. All items are turned into the county clerk's office. Then they are